we have a YouTube showdown. It's exciting. Let me explain. On one side, we have Without a Crystal Ball, a YouTuber who is on fire right now, giving commentary on topics surrounding television, celebrities, drama, and the like. On the other side, we have the Non Sequitur Show. Well, what's left of it, Steve McRae, who's also trailblazing through the tube space in the fields of science, philosophy, and the atheist/agnostic commentary community. These two rising YouTube sensations have collided, and in the chaos, I have been called upon again to analyze each bit and byte to give a confused community affected a video that will provide evidence and commentary, and in the end, they can make up their own minds for themselves. Versus mode, Non Sequitur versus Without a Crystal Ball. Let's go. These two YouTubers actually have a history with each other. I'm going to sum up most of it, but if you want to find each side telling their own part of the story, you can go to their YouTube channels and find the related videos. Basically, Katie was invited on the Non Sequitur show back when it was rising in popularity, and because of this, she was given a quick boost to her YouTube channel that she created right after appearing on Non Sec. Both admit that her appearing on Non Sec gave her the initial jump she needed in subscribers to start off, which is the hardest part of YouTube. Let's get this straight right off the bat. It's been proven that Steve was a 50-50 owner of Non Sec with another YouTuber, Kyle Curtis. WOAC, that's what I'll call Katie from now on, short for Without a Crystal Ball, and Steve, who I will call Non Sec. Both were propelled up the YouTube ladder at the same time, but Katie was a guest on Steve's show. Most of you already know, but for those of you that don't, Kyle took all the money from Non Sec and disappeared with it, even ignoring court orders to appear and explain why he didn't give Steve his part of the money. This is an important part of the story. If you're not fully caught up on it, I've also got many videos that explain and prove everything that happened in the theft of Non Sequitur. But there is a result, and I have shown the court papers that prove it. Steve is receiving Non Sequitur, and Kyle is gone. This is important because Katie took Kyle's side and believed the lies that he told to commit this crime. She has admitted that in her video apology.
I felt terrible at that point. So then I put those tweets out this morning, and then I reached out to Steve and I said, listen, I just want to talk to you. I'm sorry. I feel like I was misled. And then Steve was basically like, I never believed that you were part of this. I believe that he lied to you and that you believed him. And because he was your friend, you stuck up for him and you trusted your friends. And I said, that's exactly what happened. And I apologized for the statements I made. I said I felt terrible. And then Steve showed me a ton of evidence from his side, which basically proved that what Kyle had been telling me was completely inaccurate. Steve doesn't tell you that, he didn't care that he hadn't been paid.
Now, this is Instagram, and this is Katie talking to her court audience, this has already been handled by Steve. Of course he wants his money in a 50-50 partnership. No business ever has just said, you know what? We own this together. How about you keep all of it, Kyle? So I don't know why Katie and Godless Engineer and Mr. Atheist make this dumb argument all the time. The thing you got to know is, why is she bringing it up now, though? It's not relevant anymore. Already been debunked. She already apologized for this. The important thing, though, is what she says next. She then accuses Steve of the worst thing you can accuse somebody of. You know what kind of harassment? And I'm going to go ahead and debunk it, too, right now. In my opinion, the worst accusation is this one. This is from the video that she did, Let's Talk. And then she went to Instagram, to say more things to her audience. But this was done on her YouTube channel, and a lot of people saw it.
So he became friends with her. And I tried to warn her, and it didn't work. Since this has been going on, 4 other women have come forward and told me that they have gone through similar experiences with him.
That number 4 has now turned into 10, but 4.
They have been accused of doing all kinds of things, and he has targeted them. One woman named Fiona has told me that she has been targeted for over a year.
Just not true. In fact, Steve has blocked Fiona very long time ago, and she has just continued to make video after video after video geared at him, calling him an RA, an R apologist. That was Fiona. She's bringing up the woman that said that because Steve did an interview with a guy, he was an RA, an R apologist. That's who she's talking about. Let that sink in.
Another woman named Laura told me that she has been a target of his for months. This isn't just individualized. Everything that he is accusing me of is garbage. I didn't steal his channel. I didn't have any.
He didn't accuse you of that. I know you're mad, but he didn't accuse you of that.
Anything to do with anything related to the fall of his channel.
You kind of did, though. You had to a lesser degree, helped spread the lie that Steve was defrauding insurance, but, you know, Dan, Godless Engineer, and Mr. Atheist, but that was a big thing that helped his channel crumble.
The only people that have anything to do with the fall of his channel are him and Kyle. They were the ones.
So anyway, she brings up these women. I've got another clip. I'll grab it for you because I got to be thorough. She's been on Instagram going to other women and claiming that Steve has harassed her in that way, like this.
You know, he told me, like, he was talking about his penis size, you know, and it's like, and my breast size. And it's just like, that's not okay.
There's someone who knows him that says that he makes misogynistic comment, lies to mutual friends, and attacking them and defends their friends. She says that he has gone after Scientist Mel, XXILD, Fiona, Moderate SeaWorld, Hannah, Creepshow.
Anyway, I could go on and on, but we've all seen this. She's making the accusation that Steve, harassed her in a, sexual way, and Fiona and Laura and other women. Now, the issue is, we know what happened between, it's public what happened between Katie and Steve back then. This was not harassment. It wasn't even an issue. Let me show you this, though, because I've got everything right here. Every single piece of this. How do you know my claims are false? Were you there? Did you hear what he said to me in response to someone questioning her claim against Steve of this? Adria comes back. You came out and said that he did not say this to you. You said that he said this to someone else and you heard it. This was over him saying another woman was hot, correct? No, says Katie in response. He made comments in our conversation that made me uncomfortable and is demanding that I apologize for sharing that and saying it's false. So let's just go ahead and pull up the conversation. This all goes back to a porn star going on the Non Sequitur show. Afterwards on Twitter, Steve I'll just read it to you. He says, "Thank you so much, Mercedes," the porn star, "for the amazing interview. I think my face is finally back to its usual color. The episode will be available tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Steve then adds, "And don't forget to follow her on Twitter, people. Not safe for work, but why are you browsing Twitter while working anyway?" Katie Joy pops in. After Steve says this not safe for work comment, Katie Joy pops in. "Sounds interesting." Steve replies to Katie, because they get along and they're cool with each other, with, "She was amazing and brilliant and funny and personable, hot as fuck. A great time we had by all, and we look forward to..." One moment, please. "We look forward to having her back in October, her schedule permitting." And who is saying the comment here? Who's that? That's Katie saying, "Wow, she got some boobs, though." None of this is sexual on Katie's side or Steve's side. The issue is, after Katie got mad at Steve, it's almost like she let this thing in her head turn into the kind of harassment that she says it is, to use against him. Are you seeing the issue yet? The last claim is that Steve is the leader of a troll army And all I have to do to debunk that is tell you to watch Steve McRae's videos. There's not a single screenshot out there where Steve has told anybody to go around harassing anyone, to cyberstalk anyone, to make fun of anyone. Nothing. Steve has just criticized Katie. For a person like Katie, who makes her money off of criticizing others, it's ironic to see her saying that another person's criticism is harassment. And it's a dangerous slope to go down, Katie. It's not respected in the world of reporters or in commentating. But let's just iron this out with a little bit of evidence. Let's see who really is instigating people to troll, harass, or do things that are against guidelines. Here in this screenshot, Katie says, "I don't know why I'm being accused of a channel being taken down. The channel is up and all the videos are accessible." Speaking of Leslie's channel. Now, Leslie is the mod that went to Steve and had the conversations with him that exposed some of the things about Katie that she didn't want out there. And Steve and Leslie planned on going on Leslie's channel and having Steve talk there. The issue? Leslie's got 15,000 subscribers, and most of them are the people that actively watch Katie's channel. Then Dana Britt comes back. Her channel is up, but she can't do anything. YouTube suspended her. Somebody else says her channel is under review. While it remains there, she cannot upload or live stream. Meanwhile, Katie is making videos, live streaming, and making her money. She effectively stopped Leslie from making any money for now. And then Katie comes back not saying, "Hey, I didn't strike her. I didn't tell people to strike her." She says, "Leslie accused me of blank blank," as you can see right here. That to me is her saying that she did tell people to go strike Leslie and that she struck Leslie. But let's go ahead and add hard evidence that she did it. Katie says, "I was talking about Steve." When talking about inciting people to go strike a channel, she replies with, "I was talking about Steve, not her. I have nothing against her videos at all. Steve has made she says Sheev. And by the way, Katie, you're doing this to try to say that Steve having long hair and that he's like a she. This is actually harassment. You have called Steve Sheev at least 20 times that I've seen on Twitter, and you said it in your video. And I can prove it if I have to. But I got it here. You're calling him Sheev to try to say that his long hair makes him look like a girl and all this, and that he's a she, misgendering him purposely. Why? You're literally saying that Steve is harassing and targeting you while doing this. This is too much. It's like you're trying to wave it in people's faces. I can accuse them of harassing me. Obviously you do. You've stated that. Let's keep going. Sheev has made 17 videos about me. I said I wish her the best and want her to do well, meaning Leslie. Then she says, "I didn't report anything." Actually, I have a clip of you admitting to reporting 17 of Steve's videos. But since I've been working on this for days and I got to get this uploaded, I'm not going to pull the clip. Many of you heard it, and she knows that she said it. I talked about Steve. So here she is admitting that she didn't report anyone but Steve. And yes, she's calling him Sheev again, who has made 17 videos about me, but not her, not Leslie. It was about him and how YouTube isn't helping me stop the targeted creator-on-creator harassment. That's because what Steve is doing, when YouTube looks at Steve's videos, YouTube is seeing Steve just criticize you. He's just criticizing, and YouTube agrees, Katie. That should tell you something. Then she does this huge breakdown where she does tell people to not only report Steve, but report Leslie. And since the video was uploaded, I have received threats, been accused of crimes, and others are accusing me of defrauding Medicaid due to my son's care. None of this is warranted, and all of the accusations are patently false. Personal attacks are bullying and harassment. No, they're not. I don't know what you're talking about. As long as it's criticism, opinion, or like comedy or whatever, then unless it's very strictly like demeaning in a way, which they weren't. I've watched their criticisms of you, and it is not that. She's trying to convince her audience that it is harassment, and then says, where underlined, "Please report videos that you see that directly target me by other creators." Literally, she's telling people to go to right here. She knows she is to strike Leslie, to strike Brittany, and to strike Steve. Some points about those that trusted Kyle. They trusted him knowing he had been recorded kicking Steve off the show and recorded admitting that he didn't pay Steve. The main YouTubers that trusted Kyle just happened to be Godless Engineer, Mr. Atheist, Without a Crystal Ball, and a few more. It is no coincidence that out of this group of people that were friends with Kyle, many of them gained their YouTube presence from Non Sequitur, and at the time, Kyle had control of Non Sequitur, if you see what I mean. We have to remember that in most YouTube conflicts over a channel, the person that keeps the channel keeps creating, keeps making money, and keeps getting views, even after really messed up things happen. I mean, look at I Am Alex, James Charles, Taddy Westbrook. All of them did things that most people would stop watching them for, but they're still raking in the dough and making their content. My point is that this group of people took Kyle's side, ignoring all evidence until Steve took Kyle to court and Kyle didn't show up. And they pushed it until the last possible minute. This tells me that this group cares more about their YouTube image than standing up for what is right. But regardless of how you feel about them trusting Kyle in the face of a recorded admission of guilt, the non-sec theft is the backbone for the entire situation. Kyle had a defense tactic to use against Steve during the theft. He spread a rumor that Steve was committing fraud against the Veterans Administration by telling Kyle to hold Steve's money. How did Kyle spread this rumor? Through Without a Crystal Ball, Godless Engineer, and Mr. Atheist. This rumor met all of Kyle's needs, and who would have thought that it also took all those that had non-sex-centered audiences at the time and fed their audiences that point. So this is the end of the video, at least part 1, and I've shown the direct evidence kind of push back against Katie's claims. Because why? I couldn't find evidence to push back against any claim Steve made against Katie. And I would have if I could have found it. Also, if I would have found Steve harassing or doing anything to break guidelines or doing anything that was inappropriate in this story, then I would have put it in the video also. Steve has criticized her, and he is allowed to do it. Once Kyle had committed a crime against him, and with other people helping Kyle make excuses against Steve and trying to label Steve as the criminal, even though Kyle was, I do think that Steve has a valid excuse to do whatever he wants to do in terms of criticizing Katie, Godless Engineer, Mr. Atheist, all of them. That's his decision. None of us know what it feels like to have a successful YouTube channel that you worked for years to finally blow up and then to have the money and the channel stolen from you. None of us knows what that feels like, and none of us knows how much criticism would need to be thrown out to the people that helped. I'm UNIRock. If you like this video, please consider joining my Patreon, joining my channel here on YouTube, subscribing, liking. This took days. I've been pouring through this. I can't wait to take a break and live stream and chill. Thank you for watching. I will make a part 2 if necessary. If not, you'll see another group of YouTubers right here on Versus Mode. I'm out. UNIRock out.